know that's hard to believe. Listen to me. What in the world is Brother Robin talking about? This is the heaviest 11th hour. This is a wild thing. No, it's a spiritual thing. And I want you to know the blurred lines. This is not just political. They've blurred the lines so that you will live in the blur and you don't know the difference. But I'm here to tell you the difference. And what I don't know, the Lord does. People say, well, what you don't know is vast. Maybe, but I know who knows it all. And I just cannot abide people being run over and beat down and forced to do things they should never be forced to do. And so Rome did it. And then it began to change in Rome. They would fight exotic animals against one another. One time they even filled the arena on the bottom with water and simulated naval battles. Then they began, and then they would, they'd have gladiators and things like that fight to the death while the people were in on it. It kept their mind off of what was going on in the political realm. Bread and circus. And so then, what is the Hunger Games? Think about it. Hunger, bread, and circus. Lady Gaga and all of her people around her that day, and she was just part of the people. You can't tell me they didn't know what they were portraying. If not, then why not just wear some knickers and look like the 1930s if you just want to dress up? No, but they picked that movie and sung over our flag was saying, this is our new country. And it's coming. And now the jackal with the serpent's eye is saying, I'm going to mandate this, I'm going to mandate that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to force you to take a jab. It won't work in the South, Hoss. That just won't work in the South. I'd think hard about that. The strength of any dictator is simply the military. It's never anything else. Hitler was just a paper hanger. He wasn't anything, he was probably born to do something else. And he got into the occult. Oh, hold it. Wait a minute. Nazism was in the occult? Oh, yes. Wait a minute. I thought it was just political. Blurred lines. Oh, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just standing up here walking and talking, and in the prophetic realm, I'm over here now, talking to you. Oh, yes, Hitler, the stuff you saw on the Indiana Jones movies and stuff like that, this was real. He really tried to find the Ark of the Covenant. He really wanted the Holy Grail. He wanted the Spear of Destiny. He really wanted all this stuff. Creating a super race. Experimenting with the blood of Jews. Cut their arm off and time them to see how long it would take to bleed to death. And if there were twins that were in the Jewish race, it was horrible what they would do to twins, because they were God's chosen people, and he wanted to know that secret to create this race. It was blurring lines of political to hide the spiritual aspect. But they must tell you what they're going to do, or you can't enter their words and think it's your own, so that you live in that world, and when it comes, it's not unfamiliar to you. Oh, that's just this. So I'll naturally gravitate to what the next part of the movie was. Come on, guys. Am I all alone? I mean, so you have to begin to see the truth, the blurred lines. When the Lord woke me up the other morning, He was telling me more than I could fathom at the moment. This was in the middle of the night or early morning. He said, blurred lines, blurred lines. My people have blurred the lines and they live in the blur. And He said, time's flying by. This is what government is doing, blurring the lines. They understand this. And so they tell you what they're going to do, and people by the millions bought tickets to watch it until the television told them what was coming. And they got so caught up in it. Look at the thing, read the book, do this, do that. And instead of recognizing it as a warning of what's coming, they entered the world of it. Not everyone, but some. It was all prophetic. Now, so you have people like Hitler. Only the military gave him his strength. Without the military, he was nothing. I know sixth graders could have kicked his rear end around. I grew up with sixth grade farm boys, man, where I grew up at. And some of those sixth graders were 6 foot tall almost. They'd have beat him around the corner. But not when you've got the SS Gestapo around you all the time. Same thing with other dictators. Karl Marx, he was in the occult. Was in the occult. Communism was the blurred line where the spiritual and the political could blur together, and you never saw it. Oh, come on, y'all. This is deeper than we're. But I really went to the Lord. I said, Lord, I've got to tell our partners something. What do you want me to say? And He gave me this. So he was in the occult, blurred the lines in communism. You have people, now you understand the strength of it. You know, I don't know how many dictators you think were involved in all these things. In Rome, they were surrounded by false gods. And so then it happened. The only threat, the threat was always Christians and Jews. The threats were always Christians and Jews. I don't know whether you know this or not, but the throne of Pergamon mentioned in the scripture in the book of Revelation is the throne of Zeus. And if I could just tell you out of just remembering all of the story, the way it went was in the days of Antiochus, the Greek king. He came in, he conquered Jerusalem, he took the young priest and he started building gymnasiums all over Jerusalem and got them all into worshiping athletics and doing things like that because the Greeks were into the body, you know. And so they began to do that. But then the day came, he took a statue of Zeus and put it up on the altar of the Lord. Slaughtered a pig, desecrated the altar. That sparked the whole Maccabee revolt. Judah the Hammer Maccabee and so forth. And those priests finally overcame it. That's the Hanukkah story. But then the throne of Satan, when the Romans came in, the throne of Zeus was kind of dismantled, and after a while, it was moved during those days to Pergamos. I'm just trying to say, I'll just get through this quick. But you check all the facts yourself. So he gets over there and they assemble the throne of Satan in Pergamos. That's where the scripture talks about in Revelation that they offered his faithful servant Antipas on the throne of Satan. He's talking about that throne where they had a bull. It was a hollow bull. And they would tie the man's hands behind his back, tie his feet, and they would shove him up in that bull and close the door in its belly. And the bull was hollow and the horns were hollow. And they would build a fire underneath that bronze bull. And when it would heat up, the man would roast alive inside the belly of that bull. And when he did, he would start to moan and cry and scream and do whatever from the pain. And the smoke would come out the horns and the nostrils. And they thought the idol came